this was a rush, right? Yeah, that's better. Oh, that's better. Hi there, everybody. My name is Bradley Powers. I'm going to see if I can get you a better picture. Oh, that's gone well, isn't it? I didn't see that coming. Is that right? No, not that one. Right, we're playing. Yeah, we are live. Yeah, I'd like to say thank you for everybody being here. What we have here is called the Mystic Roundtable. It's an organisation of mystics sitting around the round table. Cool, what's that noise? Is that a coffee machine? Yeah, we're all sitting around a round table. The reason is because King Arthur had a round table. And I always say to everyone, you don't work for me, you work with me. We're building a foundation. And that's what I say to everyone. And then, like, we all come up with an idea of a round table. It might be Sherry might be it, and just quickly, I can't remember. And like at the round table, like we're all equals. And that's how King Arthur liked it like that. He didn't want to be the head of the table. And how decisions are made is we vote for decisions. But when we share ideas, we vote for them. And that's a democracy. We're a democracy. And that's the way we're moving forward. So let me introduce you to members from the round table. Okay, my name is Bradley Powers. I'm a spiritual advisor and a mystic. And I'll pass you over and you'll pass yourself around with Sherry Brett to start with.
Hello everybody, I'm Sherry, also known as Willow. I am part of the round table. I do investigations, I am a witch, I'm a practicing shaman, and I'm here to educate and to inspire others. So I hope that you enjoy the show, guys, and lots of love.
Yeah, thank you for that, Sherry. Sherry Brett is in the house. And who's next in line? I can't see very well. I ain't got the right glasses on, sorry.
Well, I guess that is us, Mr. Bradley.
Chrissy and Chris is next.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I can't see very well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Chrissy. He's Chris over here in the back. We're from Within the Cauldron, Facebook group that we have for 2.5 years now. We also do Discord discussions and, of course, the podcasts. And we are part of the Mystic team. And we also high priest and priestess of Covenant of the Blessed Lady. And I think, Mark, you're next.
Chill. I'm Mark Nightwolf Brown. I'm an organic farmer, an experiencer, and I would say divine traveler. I have been many places, seen many things, and hope to experience more. And hopefully, we can share a little pearls of wisdom, and I can plant seeds in more than just the ground.
You're a Freemason as well, Mark. Don't be shy here. You're amongst friends.
I am so taken and accepted. I am a traveling man. I am so taken and accepted. I am a Freemason, a Shriner, an Odd Fellow. Seen 43 countries. I've been around a little bit. Psychic. I've worked with the Witches Council as the 13th member in Salem, Massachusetts for 3 years. The Ward, which is...
Okay, well, thank you very much. Who's next?
Nico is next.
Hi guys, I'm Nico. I'm part of Within the Cauldron. I am a high priest of the Coven of the Sacred Willow. I'm also a folk practitioner, Reiki master, and herbalist.
And my cousin.
Yeah, and cousin to Chrissy and Chris.
And now Mike.
Hello, you beautiful souls. I am Mike, also known as Shaman Perry. I am a trained shaman. My lineage in shamanism stems from Cherokee, Cree, as well as the Anunnaki. And I'm also a practitioner of many forms of magic. I incorporate rituals and ceremonial work in all of my workings. And it's a great honor and pleasure to be here with all these beautiful people, and hoping to drop wisdom.
Thank you. Anyone else? Have I covered everything?
That's
Yep, we
everyone.
cover everyone.
That's it. That's everyone.
I am going around and I am taking some of your space rent-free, I know, and I am creating Bradley Powers presents the art of necromancy and the chat rooms for necromancy, yeah. And because it's not talked about, you know, and I can't really talk about it without people think I'm going to the dark side and becoming a devil worshipper, and like it doesn't mean that, you know. And if you wanted to like pay homage to Lucifer and work, you could work with him or you could work for him. You haven't got to sell your soul to the devil, although you can sell your soul to the devil if you wish, and I don't wish to.
I'd like to say hello to everybody in the group as well, my guys. There's Salem, there is Drew, and MCAT. So hello to all of you in the group.
Oh, I got a picture. I got a ghost in a white sheet and glasses. I'll keep that for memory.
Casper?
Yeah, I think I'm going to post it actually on my necromancer chat room to remind me, like. Oh dear. We may have been through a storm, but some of the storm was so unbelievable it became a comedy, you know. Well, funny. Yeah, I'll let you too. Yeah, okay.
Well, he keeps dropping.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we could talk about dragons. We could talk about anything you want. Actually, I've talked about the round table. Yes, and I've got to share the group. I just remembered it's a messenger. Yeah. We could start off with dragons and then go on to witchcraft. Do witches believe in dragons? How about that for a question?
Yes.
Do witches believe? Yeah. Don't you? It's amazing. The dragons do fall under the category of the Fae, which I find that quite surprising.
They do, yeah.
The elemental beings, you know, I understand that, but I didn't think they'd fall in the category of the Fae.
Yeah, and then there's an entire branch of magic that's called draconic magic that witches work with them as like a deity structure. So some will work with them as elementals, others will work with them as their deities.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I would not recommend to do any dragon magic unless you really know what you are doing. Okay, because dragons are not to be messed with lightly. So if you know what you're doing, okay. But if you don't just say, "Oh, I'm going to go out and worship the dragon." No, got to know what you're doing.
Possible.
Yeah,
It's like truth. So if you are not ready to stand in your truth and own your own BS, Dragon's not gonna. It's not gonna be a pleasant experience, guys.
No.
And make sure you get an offering too. Always get an offering to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely one energy that you definitely have to give over offerings and stuff too. You've definitely got to know the path you're walking on with them as well, because they're very straightforward. They don't muck about. They're very powerful. And there's a lot to working with them and things as well, like with the energy, with yourself, things that they expect from you, things they expect you to give to them. There's just so much that you have to do to please a dragon.
Very correct. Yes. Yeah. They're almost like the fairies too, because the fairies is like that too.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I have done some education on dragons for the guys in here, because some of them are very interested in it, but I have told them that they're not easy rides, and do your research and your studying before jumping in and attempting anything. Yeah, habits, history, etc. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, Drew. Thanks for posting that.
Yeah.
Working with any type of energy like that, guys, study the history, the habits, get to know them, cultivate that relationship.
Yeah. Yes. That is correct.
It is all about forming relationships with them. They need to be able to trust you as much as you trust them. That is what it is. It's no different to working with the Fae. You've got to have that trust with them, and they've got to be able to understand you as well as you understanding them. You've got to understand their, characteristics, the sort of things that they're into, the sort of things you're going to be working with them for, because all dragons and all Fae are different. They're not the same, and they all work in different categories and different elements. So it's really important to understand that.
That's right. And here's a short little experience I had recently with the dragon. I was doing a really deep trance meditation sitting in the void. And all of a sudden, this baby dragon appeared and started flying in a figure eight, just going back and forward. Once I became aware of that, aware of its presence, it flew to me and swallowed me, which at first kind of scared me and almost made me come out of it. But I got this really calm feeling washing over me and heard this voice say to just relax, that it was the dragon connecting with me. Which, when I shared that with Willow, she confirmed that with me.
Yeah, it's serenading and calling you forward to him, and that's what he was doing. That's why he swallowed you. That's what happened to me. I got swallowed, literally.
It's kind of freaky.
You understand that very well. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on here.
In and out. What's going on?
The signal's going in and out.
But how about if we talk about this week's podcast, you guys? Because we got some really good stuff going on. Like tomorrow, Willow's Richie's Den is having hers at 5, correct? 5 Central, 11 UK time?
It is, yeah.
Oh. Are you going to have any specific topics to talk about, or is this going to be a random chat?
Well, this one is spirituality with paranormal, because obviously I'm an investigator of the paranormal, so I think it's really important to have that. So obviously I'm going to have my sister Drew up. If there's anybody else that's interested in joining tomorrow that's in the paranormal field and uses spirituality, you're more than welcome to join us. But it's just an open chat, really, talking about how we use our spirituality in our paranormal field, how we connect with the spirits, and the sort of things that we do. So I thought that would be really interesting, because obviously Sister Drew is an investigator as well, so we understand that side very well. So yeah,
it'd be very good to watch. Put it on your list. Tuesday night, we within the Cauldrons having a women's witchy chat. Willow's going to be joining me with Drew and another friend, Medium Red. We are just going to be talking random stuff about witchcraft, and we would take some questions from the audience, and we would answer them for you.
Yes.
And do we have anything for Wednesday, guys?
Not at the minute. I do want to. I am trying to start up shows for a Wednesday where I was going to be doing like educational things and stuff like that. And I was actually hoping to bring that over to where me and Mike do our book club thing on a Wednesday, and do obviously our book club is based on like ancient history and knowledge in all of the aspects of spirituality, different types of like crafts and sort of things like that. All the stuff that he's interested in, anything that I'm interested in, we're going to be like reading books and educating people. People can ask questions. Mike will probably be able to speak a little bit more about that as well. So yeah, we've got some interesting stuff coming up.
That'd be cool. Thursday, Nico and I have a guest, an author, Miss Amy Blackthorne. Mm-hmm. She has done a lot of what would you call it, Nick? Like herb magic?
She's a green witch that does a lot of herbal magic, she's in books on protection magic, cleansings, cleansings, and then I believe she wrote a book on making herbal cocktails.
Yeah, brews. I think she calls them brews. She has about 7 books, so Nico and I is pretty excited to interview her. Friday, we have another one within the cauldron with Willow and Nico, and Mike's going to join us too. We are going to talk about cemeteries. Now, I know you probably think that is kind of like a weird subject to talk about, but it's not. It's not. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be the history of cemeteries. What does the symbols mean on the headstones? Spirits of the cemeteries. So it'd be
Proper
really,
graveyard etiquette, how to work with the spirits,
yes,
and kind of debunk some of the myths on the what's called the guardian of the gate, which most people do not know is not always a human spirit. It is sometimes a horse.
yes.
Older cemeteries would bury a horse first to go as the guardian of the gate versus a person.
Yeah. And Mike, how about you? I know you have things going on.
Yeah, very much understand about the Guardians of the Gate.
Thinking about doing probably on Wednesdays, guys. I haven't solidified it yet, but drumming, shamanic drumming. So if you guys got a drum, or even you just want to listen to some cool drumming, come join us. It's going to be really fun and very relaxing.
I'm getting my drum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got drums and stuff here, and tambourines and everything else.
Yep, tambourines. Yep.
Yeah.
So we're going to jam
Sister
out.
Drew was saying about card read because Sister Drew was going on about doing card readings on a Wednesday.
Yes, I forgot. I'm so sorry, Drew. Yes, we can do that on Wednesday, most definitely.
That would be very cool.
We can even do, when she does card readings, we can have I will put up my personal phone number, and those who would like to call in instead of typing in a chat, you can. Drew can hear your voice and do a card reading for you.
It'll be divination, so she'll be doing everything from cards to pendulums, dice, and rings and stuff. So she's going to have a lot of different things she's going to be doing.
I'm excited about that. I mean, she's divination, yes. I think I got somebody here that will want a reading.
That would be very cool.
Yeah.
And to circle back for a minute to when Sherry was talking about our book club, when we get it launched, guys, we're going to be studying the 3 books of occult philosophy, volume 1. And there's lots of great information about how the body is and we can use that information to enhance our energy work and our healings, not just for ourselves and each other, but for the collective and the earth as well.
Good choice. Good choice. Those are some good books.
No, I love that.
Yeah, no, they are. And I'm really, really, really excited about doing it.
Yeah, me too, sis. Yeah.
I'm excited to actually have people to read them with. I've been studying this stuff by myself for years.
Mark, how about you?
It's time to share, isn't it? It's time to share. Sharing is caring.
I just want to apologize for the bad cell connection tonight. I don't know what's causing it. It must be something with the towers. I've never had an issue before, but it keeps booting me offline. But I am going to be working on I'm going to be working on some new herbalism videos and education if people have an interest in that. And I'll also be showing how to make medicinal products along with how to locate and find the herbs. And then I'm going to be launching a new podcast as well on the farm. And then I'm going to do one fun on the paranormal, speaking on cryptozoology in specifics.
Oh, I love that.
Ooh, I'm there.
Oh, that's not working, is it?
He says it's scary.
You've got to. Oh, and he's gone again.
Maybe back.
So you need to accept the friends request on mine and Mike's group so that I can make him admin, because then he can put some of his stuff in there as well.
Oh, that'd be so awesome. You know, the group
that's something else we haven't told you about yet, isn't it?
Yeah,
we do need to tell them about
it. Yeah, Sherry, once tell us all about it because it's
Hey.
excited about it.
Well,
I mean,
for a long time, I've wanted to be able to set up a group for schooling and education, and like talking in all aspects of magic, from witchcraft to shamanism, esoteric, and some of the views that Mike's into as well, that I'm really into as well. So I spoke to Mike the other day and I said, look, I'm interested in opening a group. Would you be interested in going in with me? He set up the group because he was so excited. So he went and done the group. And like literally we have been non-stop, like getting stuff put in there. All of my guys up on the panel have been really contributing and stuff like that. So it's going to be a place where you can come to be educated. There will probably at some point be some sort of teaching lessons where we can teach you about things, but there's going to be a lot on the actual page that you can read and learn about. Sister has put lots of files up on witchcraft and all sorts of things. So's Nico. I've put bits up. I've put educational videos. Mike's
God.
been putting bits up on like shamanism and on other things that he's into as well. Like I'll let Mike explain a little bit more about his side as well. But we've got a lot of really cool stuff coming to you. It's not open yet, guys. It's going to be in a couple of weeks. But once it is opening, we will start adding people in. We just want to make sure that everything's the way it needs to be first. So over to Mike.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sherry, for that. And guys, this is going to be so huge. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of books that you could, on any topic, whatever you want to learn, that's going to be in here. And we're working on getting everything organized so it's easy to find. And I'm also going to be posting a video to show you how to use AI to help you extract and make like a outline for books that you're reading. Because some of these books are very in-depth and have very intricate language, and using that makes it a lot easier for me to study with them. So like a quick study guide to go with the book.
And there's going to be exclusive content in there too, because we're reaching into our personal grimoires and pulling out some of our lessons and putting those in there. So you may see things that you haven't seen before.
And what I want to do first as well, because obviously you guys are putting this information and stuff in the chat. Are you okay with other people using it as an educational purpose, like myself, Mike, and like say if there was a show that we were doing? Yeah, we don't want to just share your content that way without you saying no. Like,
my only request is that if they're using my stuff, please credit me.
Yeah.
Just don't mess with my crediting.
No, you will be named in anything that's used. It'll only be me that will probably use stuff like that, but I will mention you and Chrissy in your content, saying that you're the founders of that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I got some questions from the audience. Daryl Milber says hi from Texas. Hi, Daryl. Daryl's got the most amazing of all the people I've ever met over the years. Daryl Milber has got photographs of entities, and they are really impressive. He really has. We need to have him on the show, but if we have him on the show, we need to be able to show some of the images that he's got. They're very rare and genuine as well. Now, the questions are from Johnny Pepperstone. Hi there, Johnny. Johnny Pepperstone. He's got two questions, and and they're witch questions. So who better ask them witches? Who was the witch of Endor? Does anyone know who was the witch of Endor?
No.
Oh God.
No one knows.
Witches are plural. There's more than one witch of Endor.
They're the ones that called Samuel back.
Oh, really? There's more than one witch of Endor. Okay, that's good.
The witches of Endor. Yeah. They're the ones that called back Saul, King Saul.
Called back Samuel.
Called back Samuel to talk to Saul, and when they realized in the Bible what they had done, he'd hid himself, and they said, "What hast thou done to us?" So basically, when they were called the witches of Endor to speak to a saint, it caused some kind of a cosmic disturbance.
Saul was told not to do it, and he went behind God's back.
Right. I'm getting advice here too, but behind the scenes.
That sounds like something I need to look up and read.
Yeah.
sounded
was told, they were told not to do this. Saul was specifically. And then he took creative leave to do so against God's commandments. And his entire family was cursed after that, and they all died. So he had major negative ramifications for contacting a saint through the witches of Endor. So they must have been incredibly powerful witches, but they apparently had spoken to the saint, and it caused some negative repercussions because he was asked not to do that.
All right.
Saul was actually commanded not to do that.
Cool.
Thank you for your answer. That's the answer, Johnny Pepstone, to who was the Witch of Endor. And he has one more question. Does a wizard count as a cryptid?
No.
No. I'm
Nope.
sorry.
Say that it does not.
You can become local folklore, but you can't become a cryptid directly.
Right.
But you can become strange enough that you are local.
Yeah.
Cryptids are unknown creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Wizards are
My
sorcerers.
Cherokee. See, I'm indigenous, so all my indigenous cultures, I'm Chaligi or Cherokee, Apache, and I have Choctaw, and all three have significant tales of cryptids in our tribal legends, and I do firmly believe them, and so I'm intending to educate and illustrate some of those.
Mm-hmm. We have some similar ones in the Lakota as well.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the
Yeah,
things
Some of them are the same, believe it or not.
Oh yeah, it's the
There,
different name
there
for
is
the
some
same creature.
shared.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Sukalu, which is what we call a Bigfoot.
Yep.
I have found that the Pequot or Thunderbird,
Yep.
which we call the Mystic Hawks, there was two of them, even seen by Daniel Boone. So the Thunderbird's Bigfoot and a giant flying feathered snake with horns on its head, which is basically Quetzalcoatl. It's found in every world ancient religion and all across the Americas, from South America up into the Americas. They're called tie snakes, Onondaga. They're called water panthers sometimes in certain cultures. It's quite spectacular, but they're shared legends, and I think that's what's going to be fun.
we should do a breakdown of sacred stories. That would be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget, after the show, I'd like to watch that video that you sent me. I just want to feel how you felt. Then, I'm going to contact, if you can make yourself available, I'm going to contact Matthew Turner and, offer him the idea. If you all pay $10 subscription, when it used to be $10, he'd have more money coming. And he'd be doing us a favour as well. He asked me, he said, how can he repay me? Because he wanted to resolve things with someone. How can he repay me, back for doing that? And I thought, well, here's how you can get us all on your platform. We want to be on your platform, basically. So if you can make yourself available after the show, I'd be grateful. Because I'd like to nick this in the bud as well.
I made a list. I think we have probably about 15 different teams, podcasters too, that does work with nothing but the cryptids. So,
really?
Paranormal and cryptids, yeah.
So they will be joining the shows, whoever wants them. There's 15 of them. So
they're more than welcome to come into ours, because we have got we've opened a paranormal page on our group, so that'd be for anyone that's into your paranormal cryptids and stuff, because I do like some of my cryptid stuff as well, so it'd be really nice to have people, not just me and Mike, to sit here reading stories. If you guys have got things to do and there's people that maybe that want to come and join us for a show, you're more than welcome.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we like to share.
Guys.
Share is caring, Bradley says.
Yeah, get used to that.
I know Mark and I have a show coming up on March 4th. It's going to be a really good show. It's going to be organic gardening and living off grid. So we're going to combine both of them together.
Are you bringing Chef Jen on too?
Yes, I am. You got you know me. Yeah. So Mark and Jen, and probably you, Nico, if you want to, and myself will be on this podcast. And you're probably wondering, what does off-grid mean with organic gardening? How do they two go together? Well,
They really go hand in hand.
They do. Mark, you want to enlighten us on that, on how they go hand in hand?
Living off grid and going organic and living sustainably are interrelated because they teach us how to be self-sufficient in a time where modern men or modern humans are sadly consumers. Now, these concepts illustrate to us the importance of living within the natural bounds. You would say homeostasis within nature. Sustainability and living off grid means you're producing what you use, but it also makes you more responsible. You know, I use 3 R's myself: repurpose, recycle, and reuse. There's lots of things that you can, find in your neighborhood or in your even surroundings that will make you slightly more free. And I use that term very importantly. Remember, the more interconnected you are and dependent, the more you are controlled. If you raise your own food, even if it's a small amount, that's freedom. If you make your own electricity, it's freedom. Any resources that you produce are freedom. And of course, organics are natural cycles that are sustainable long term. So this is something you don't have to use a consumable. And that term is important. Consumable is anything that you have to buy that you've got to leave your driveway for. So if you've got to leave your driveway for it, it's a consumable product. The less consumable products you have, the better off you'll be. The more money you'll have too, I might want to add.
Oh yeah.
Agree with that.
Oh, Willow, we're having next month on the 21st. I'm really excited, so I asked my sis Willow to join me. We are having a coven from the UK called the Coven of Gaia. So I'm really excited to interview them. I hope she is too. So that's kind of exciting. I have to make sure I'm up early.
That is really, really cool.
Yeah, because it's going to be on the
And
UK.
they've got a really good website, and they're really, really cool people from what I've read.
Yes.
We're
really good.
Oh, go ahead. Chris has.
Yeah.
I think
I came across this one called White Raven. Very interesting to me. She talks about defensive magic. You know, it's more or less to me is like, I am woman, hear me roar. Don't put your hands on me no more. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, she does more than just defensive magic, but
yeah.
She does defensive, offensive. She dips into hoodoo and folk magic, and the stuff I've seen of hers is absolutely interesting. But she's a creator that's right up my alley as far as her practice goes.
Yeah, she's very fascinating to me, and I think a lot of people would learn something from her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, on an intellectual level, when to use magic, when not to. That's 1st March, I do believe.
How to break curses.
4
It's a
p.m.
huge
Central.
one.
You know, yeah, she's quite fascinating to me. I'm excited about having her on and asking her a few questions and maybe guide some people and enlighten some people. That's what I'm hoping.
And I'm sure Nico, who is doing co-hosting with him, I know he's excited. Look at that.
Oh, I have some diabolical questions. I've been watching her videos, and she had my brain turning in so many ways with some of her spell works that she's put in there. She's got a dollhouse spirit trap.
Yeah.
And just going through the comments and people are like, well, make one of your real house and then use it as protective ward. And then other people are like, no, trap things in there. And I'm just like, I like how all of you think.
Yeah.
Another Annabelle?
Fascinating.
I have one. I have
It
one.
reminds me of a Radia. Take back your power. Echoes the same thing that our Kurkulian spoke about, except she takes more of a direct approach the way that a Radia would. You don't show people disrespect. You don't lie about God. You know what I'm saying? He's one of those people that I think that is a leader within our community to teach people strength and about respect and when to restrain yourself and when to do magic to protect yourself. He's very interesting.
Hey, Mark, what you got?
Hey, Chris, I just wanted to add to that. And the fundamental part that people need to remember is the threefold law. So what they send out does come back to them threefold. You would call it karma in certain cultures. This energy comes back. So what you put out, you get back threefold. And what I really like about the Wiccan read is the motto, do ye as ye will, cause ye harm to none. And that's just basically being a good steward and living within the natural bounds. If you have an issue with somebody and you put out negative energy, you're going to get that negative energy back threefold. So a lot of times it's not even necessary to do anything to counteract. Sometimes the old saying, give them enough rope, right? They do it themselves. You don't have to do a thing. Just their own natural energy will come back and it will become manifest through their own actions. Just rise above and live in the light.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I've got another question. Johnny Pepperstone says, do you need to come from a special bloodline to be a witch or a wizard, or can any human do it?
Can I answer this?
Yes, please. I'd love it.
A long time ago, I used to think that it took a witch to make a witch. But then a person approached me, and I considered him a teacher at that time. And he asked me that question. And his answer, I go, no, it takes a witch to make a witch. His reply was, where did the first witch come from? How about our ancestors? Did they go through the same initiatory system that we went through? The same rite of passages? Or better yet, to be a witch, today's modern witch has access to knowledge that our ancestors did not have. So everything was oral, traditional, handed down through the generations. My answer to that is our blood tells us everything that we need to know because it's magic. It comes through our blood. It comes through our lineage from eons, millennia ago. From the first stardust, from the first person who was created. So no, and yes at the same time.
It's also interconnected. Remember, what people would call a shaman or a medicine man or a healer, they're all still other names for a similar concept. No matter what name or term you put on it, it's still similar energy.
Yep.
I agree. And if you go back far enough, everybody had pagan ancestors.
Yeah.
Christianity is a relatively new religion.
Is that our ancestors were pagan before Christianity came. And I look at Christianity as being a man-made religion, whereas paganism or witchcraft is not, because we have to dare to test the spirit. Just like Yeshua taught us, test the spirit. Be courageous. Find out the truth. So what I'm saying is, we're all pagan. We all have pagan DNA. It's written within our blood.
That's why it's important to do what you said, Chris, and to test the spirits. All too often you find people that are new to practicing, for example, they'll communicate with any spirit they encounter. Not all spirits are good, not all are evil. You really need to test the spirit to know.
Yeah.
If you use the correct sigil in some magic, you have to be totally accurate with the words you're reading from the scribes. You must be completely accurate. If you use the correct sigil as well, the sigil will enforce a connection with the spirit that you actually want to locate. Sigils prevent an imposter tuning in with you, in theory.
Yeah,
But the most
you can have
important thing
sigils.
with sigils, though, is you have to see it in your third eye. You can write anything down on a piece of paper. It ain't going to have no magic. It's when you start becoming those words. Your words become magic. Your sight becomes magic. You feel it. You know it. It comes from within.
It's very true. Yeah, no, that's true, sister.
Mike,
We
did you
were.
say sorry? Mike, did you say you was going to pay £10 subscription for Matrix Mind if you accept it? I think you did, didn't you? It was you, Mike. So I'm doing correspondence here to him now, so he's ready. He gets it right now, so he knows. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
It is intent and energy, and obviously having a connection with them as well. Like, that's why I do my investigations and things. That, like, I've been connected. I've been what I've been for a very long time, so I've got to understand different energies and know when they're good and bad. I know what signals to use with what energies and what things to say to work out if they're negative or they're good. Like, one of the traits for like your negative energies is if you ask them a question 3 times, they can't not answer you then if they're negative and things like that. So there's a lot of ways around knowing if you're in the presence of a good spirit or a bad spirit. So
if you do it right, you shouldn't get a bad spirit, because there is a danger of picking up a possession or attachment.
But you can still get those odd negative energies that try to jump you and try to jump in. Nobody is completely free from negative energy, Bradley. You know what I mean? You still can have that possibility.
And it can be manifest even in people. Sometimes people that you think are good will have a malevolent energy about them that they will bring forth into your life if you allow them that power.
That's very true, guys.
Well, people can actually form energy that turns into a form of a spirit as well. Like, if they're going through troubles and difficulties and things, they can form an energy that they believe is a spirit when it's in fact their own energy that's doing it. So there's a lot to your spirit and things like that.
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
Did a case
the law of attraction there.
Lady did that.
The law of attraction goes really
Say that
strong.
again.
Did a case a few years ago. Lady manifested her own spirit out of her own fears.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the law of manifesting, the law of attraction there, where they
Isn't that called a familiar? Sorry, it's called a familiar, isn't it? Familiar?
That in a negative sense, no. It'd be more of an egregore.
An egregore, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, a familiar spirit.
A familiar's a negative sense. I never thought that. Really? A negative sense.
No, familiars. It really depends. Like, I've got familiars. I've got familiars that I work with that are dead and alive.
Yeah. Well, for me, all of you are my familiars. You know what I mean? I'm surrounded by familiars. Oh my God.
We're all just flesh golem anyway. We're a spiritual being caught in a flesh golem.
Remember, every time when one of your joints crack, it's your skeleton trying to hatch.
That's pretty good, Nico.
So, is there any other questions, Bradley, from the audience?
No, not at the moment. There isn't. No, there isn't. No. No, there isn't. I'm addressing Matthew Turner right now, going to send him a message. And because he said to me, for helping him out of a situation, how can I repay you? And I'm thinking, you shouldn't have said that to me, because I've clocked it now. And I'm sending that back to him. Do you remember when you said, how can you repay me? Well, you can do me a massive favour. And I've written your names there. Yeah, he could be on show. You could be on his show for interviewing. You can. You're well capable of sharing professional podcasts that are filled with esoteric intellect. You are knowledgeable in your field, and what we want from him is his blessings, helping us to install some regular podcasts on his platform, and we want to give him money as well. All right, it's all good.
I know Drew has. She said something about tomorrow's night chat will be interesting for people, as that's where witchcraft comes into the paranormal. So I think she's talking about the Richie Willow's Den chat tomorrow. So that will be interesting. I'll have to.
Yes, yes, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
because that would be interesting.
I do use a lot of my witchcraft. I do use a lot of my witchcraft ways in my paranormal and stuff like that, like different herbs and the way that I talk to certain energies and speak and communicate with certain energies. I do like to carry my crystals and things round, and I very much incorporate the my craft with my paranormal. It's all connected, and I know that Sister Drew does the same. So.
Oh, yeah, and it's so good because I've seen or watched a couple paranormal investigators that I get so frustrated watching them because they run or they like try to antagonize these spirits and claim that they're demons when they're not, and then they rile them up so that they get their manifestations and get their reactions out of them, and then try to kick them out. And I'm sitting there like, why are you so rude?
Yeah.
You're so rude to these
That's
spirits.
what I don't like about some of them. I do find them very uncomfortable when they're like that. I don't agree in tormenting the spirits and being disrespectful to the spirits, no matter what they are. And it really does annoy me when they sit there and they rile them up to the point that they get attacked, and then they sit there going, "Did you see it attacked me? It's got them." It's like, well, what do you expect when you're coming into its place and you're disrespecting it? That is something that me and Sister Drew really big on. We don't provoke our spirit. We respect our spirit and our energies, whether they're dark or they're good. You know what I mean? So when's enough. So it'd be really good to.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Provoking them. Not when you don't really understand what they're capable of.
We went to
so 10 p.m. Central Time. I've got a question for you. I have 10 p.m. Central Time. 10 p.m. Central. That's 4 a.m. for us, Sherry.
Yeah, that'd be
that's when I'm going to start ringing him. 4 p.m.
About an hour.
4 a.m. our time. 10 p.m. Central.
Oh yeah, that's great, Drew.
Yeah, that is another thing that we're really strong on is we help energy to cross to the light, like especially spirits and stuff like that. We do that as well. So yeah.
Okay, I'll give you the question now. The question is from Johnny Pepperstone. All pagans witches, or are those different? Are all pagans pagan witches or are those different? So are we all pagans? What's the difference?
So yes,
no, you don't have to be a witch to be pagan.
So there are a lot of
to be pagan. Pagan
practices that have witchcraft, but under the broad umbrella term of paganism, that also includes any non-Abrahamic religion. So that includes Hinduism, Buddhism. That includes all of your Hellenism and all of your traditional pagan outlets as far as like the different witchcraft pagans, but Buddhists and the Hindu religion don't really do witchcraft. It also encompasses Native American traditions, which were not witchcraft. Do they have practices that are similar to witchcraft? Yes. Are they going to get very upset if you tell them they're doing witchcraft? Yes.
Yeah, they're not linked. So obviously, yeah, there are some pagan practitioners that are witches, but it's not known.
It depends on how you
I'm a
define.
mystic, right? I don't. Was I born a mystic? I was. Well, I reckon I was born a mystic because a mystic covers everything. That's why I call myself that. I've experienced a bit of everything. It wasn't saying it was to do with a bloodline. I get the feeling I used to be a druid or a hierophant in a past life. And that's why Merlin's in my life. Something like that. I know I'm quite special in a way. Being a hierophant knight, following a druid path, that would make me special. You have to be a Taurus to be a hierophant, which I am, and it could take 20 years to become a fully pledged hierophant, and I've been fully pledged for 8 years, so I'm still learning. There's still lots to learn. Being a druid or a hierophant is a way of life. It's not, you don't actually choose. You just are. You are that. So for me, I was a mystic. I was a hierophant knight following the druid path. I was always that. I just didn't know I was. Because I was so young, I didn't understand. Yeah, I've always been like that. Really, I think spirits come to me when I was in my youth because they might have looked at me as I was divine, like Jesus Christ, because I was so naive and ignorant, and I had no idea that the world was bad, no idea there was evil in the world, and I was so innocent that I attracted like divine spirits, sent by regal spirits. Druids, to encounter a druid priest, that's quite a blessing in itself, So I was really lucky. But what do you need a bloodline for to be a mystic or a witch or a sorcerer? A sorcerer is born magical. He's already got magic powers when he's born, and he don't need to read any grimoires because he's magical already. He just knows how to create and manifest magic because he's a sorcerer. Whereas a wizard gets his information from words of power scribed in grimoires, books of spells. That's where he gets his power. A wizard can be really powerful as well, but a sorcerer is magical already. And Merlin was a sorcerer. When he was born magical. His uncle Gaius, it was. His uncle Gaius was a wizard, and he showed Merlin a lot of magic. And Merlin was a sorcerer. As a prophet as well. A lot of people don't know that Merlin was a prophet as well. And he's a Time Lord too. Time travel is real, if you know how. I think he uses the Merkaba star because Merkaba star is our form of time travel. Teleportation. A Merkaba star is. Mer is Merlin. Kabar is the Cabal tree. Because it comes from the Cabal. Merkaba. So it's a play of words, really. That's how it got its name, from Merlin, Merkaba, Cabal, the Cabal tree. The Cabal tree can be found in the occult, and it's worth researching as well. It don't mean you are 1%.
Amy is back from her vacation, and I want to show everybody what she gave me because we was talking about gods and goddesses and stuff in within the cauldron. So, look, I don't know if you can see it. Here. It's a Statue of Liberty.
Lady Justice.
Lady Justice.
Yes.
So, you guys think it's a goddess or not?
So there's a weird thing with American goddesses. It's possible that she was modeled after Hecate.
Yeah.
But we also have American-made goddesses like Lady Fortuna that people still work with as well.
Yeah, she bought that because
they came from New York.
They came from New York. No, yeah, New York. So
that actually came from New York.
It actually came from New York City. Okay. It is like So
New York.
She does, yeah. Like the Statue of Liberty definitely holds an energy. She does. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, definitely holds it. I just want to add
Nico
that.
said something about WhatsApp. I have got WhatsApp in England. I haven't got anybody in America on WhatsApp. It's English I've got. And Nico was saying that I should use my WhatsApp for America. I didn't really think about using it for America.
That was for Chrissy. So
was
it's
it?
an app that you can. It gives you a kind of a spoof phone number that people can use to contact you, so you don't have to give out your direct personal number. And it stays on that app, so they can call you from that number. And then I think you can set it up to be like a long-term or a short-term thing.
Yeah.
That's what I use for taking phone clients. That way that I don't have to give out my personal cell phone number, but they can still get a hold of me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no. A lot of people probably haven't called on to her, because I don't think people are fully understanding of who she actually is. You know what I mean? Like that she could be several goddesses. So you'd have to go through the goddesses that are represented in that sort of energy to find out if she is connected to them. It's a bit difficult just to start going up to her and start talking to her and hoping she's going to tell you who she is. You know what I mean? Like.
But I mean, there's enough people that have passed through Ellis Island that I'm sure even if it wasn't directly a goddess, that it's become an egregore.
Oh yeah, easily. There's enough kinetic energy for that. Hell yeah.
She's definitely an influence, a big part of New York and that energy. So
look at the crown. Look at the crown and the torch. And furthermore, if she is Lady Freedom, then why is she chained at the ankle? Have you seen that?
That's why I always
the
thought
Statue of Liberty, the actual Statue of Liberty has a chain about her ankle.
That's right, she does.
Did you know the Statue of Liberty, some say, is Lucifer?
Yes, some do claim. Some claim it is Lucifer.
Lucifer's a very handsome archangel. He was, anyway.
Would it not also explain the chain about the ankle?
Yeah.
And it does explain the symbology involved with the torch, the illumination, and the crown of illuminated light.
Because that pays towards the Latin etymology of Lucifer, which goes back to phosphoros.
Correct.
Or flux, fierlux.
But could the chain around her ankle be something that they've put there to stop her from moving or falling and stuff like that?
Well, the chain is actually part of the statue.
Yeah, it does. It says that the broken chains and shackles at her feet, which is supposed to symbolize the freedom from bondage and oppression.
I was just about to look that up.
Yeah, I looked it up. Yeah, what does it mean? I forgot what it meant. I learned that in high school, but that was years ago.
But there's empowers.
So she kind of
there's important symbology.
Kind of really symbolizes she symbolizes freedom then. That people should be free and.
But what think about the crown and the torch, illumination. Yeah. Right. Illumination. So knowledge, the light of knowledge. Right.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said for, is it Lucifer necessarily, or that spirit? Remember, the fallen angels, the watchers, taught mankind the advanced sciences, cosmetology, astrology, the art of war, innumerous mathematics, geometry,
Who's that, Mark?
Yes.
Who are you on about? Who?
Yep. Yes, I was saying the Statue of Liberty. And about the illumination, concepts of remember, I'm a Mason, right? So symbology is very important for us, and it's all present through a lot of our infrastructure, more than you know. Once you learn to read the signs, you can kind of tell the intent.
Also, Lucifer gave. Don't forget, Lucifer manifested the bumblebee. The bumblebee pollinates the harvest that feeds mankind. If the bumblebee dies, we dies with it. Lucifer created the bumblebee, and it just so happens that of all the pesticides that they use, no pesticide kills a bumblebee. Well, now they've launched a new pesticide that actually kills bumblebees.
Yeah, we don't need to kill bumblebees, and I'm going to give a personal testimony. We have a type of bumblebee here called a carpenter bee, and they hover in the air, and they're quite destructive to wood. They'll make a long tunnel to lay their eggs, sometimes up to 8 feet. So they're very destructive. For years as a kid, I would take a plastic ball bat and play bee bat with them, because they hover in the air, and it's pretty good to swing. You can send one pretty far. So I killed a lot of bees out of pure ignorance. Well, I started raising blueberries, and I put 1,000 blueberry plants in the ground. The very year that I put the blueberry plants in, they bloomed and produced, a lot of fruit. Guess what was pollinating my blueberries? The carpenter bees. So I realized they're part of the natural world and realized my own inequity. So obviously I don't kill the carpenter bees anymore.
Boy, I've seen they have those great little huts that you can put on so that they have a place to nest and don't drill through the side of your house.
Yeah. There's a lot of things you can do. All bees and all pollinators, most insects, have a purpose. People don't even realize how important even the smallest insects can be.
We don't kill bees here at all, though, because of their
all creatures are important.
Not too much.
We don't see the honeybee.
They're going away. The bees are, so we need the bees to come back.
Yeah, well, they're removing. They want to kill the bees off because then they say the planet is overcrowded and they're seeking to depopulate us. That's what they're doing. But the truth is, we're not overcrowded. Do you know the whole planet fits into Alaska, and a bit of land for everyone. We all fit into Alaska.
It's time to make a relevant decision, Bradley. Wouldn't you think that humanity has to learn to live within our natural bounds, or we're bound for extinction? Because mankind can live in a perfect harmony on the earth, but we have to understand our place in this natural world, that we're not the kings of creation. We're just a co-inhabitator. We are sometimes, humanity thinks that, has an ethnocentristic view of itself when that's not the correct solution. All life on the planet's important. Even the things that you take for granted. If you kill spiders, think about all the pests that spiders get rid of. If you don't like possums eat an amazing amount of ticks out of the yard. They're immune to snake bites. Even the things that you think are not important, they're important.
Gardener snakes.
All animal is important.
Yes.
All animal is important, no matter what they are. And at the end of the day, nature and all of that was here before humankind was.
Mm-hmm.
We're not the owners of them. They own us.
Hey, Mike, when's your next meditation? You do live meditation. When is your next meditation, Mike?
My next meditation is going to be this coming Thursday, guys, at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Good.
Did you know meditation, right? You haven't always got to lie on a settee, burning incense and a candle.
No.
You could, and playing some soothing music. You could, if you was washing the car and you enjoy it, that's meditation. If you enjoy it, and like washing the dishes, doing the sewing or whatever, it's meditation. Basically, if you enjoy it, do it.
Meditation, even daydreaming. Daydreaming is a form of meditation.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Sherry.
Did you guys know
so many
Einstein, he never did any physical experiments. All of his experiments came from his daydreams, his meditation.
Yep.
And also, hobbies are meditational as well. And a lot as you get older, you'll find you let your hobbies go. You may even lose interest. And like it's sad, really. Try and remember the things you used to enjoy and tune into them because they were therapy for you and you enjoyed them. Do them again. You know.
You know,
What do you
something
like, though?
something
you're
good
strange
for the
and unknown.
mind.
Sorry. Yeah.
Does anybody play mahjong?
No.
If you play mahjong, you keep your mind incredibly sharp. It sharpens the mind. So mahjong is a fun game. It's a form of meditation for your mind, but it also keeps your synapses firing quickly. The more mahjong you play, the quicker your mind does function. So, that is a type of meditation too. It's a healing thing. That is a game, but like you say, a lot of things meditation falls in so many categories.
Yes. And I'm glad you said that, man, that it's a game, because life itself, when we look
It's
at
a
it
game.
more like a game, it's the whole experience is very meditative.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important. And to circle back too with the bees and that, if we look at nature, guys, every aspect of life that has ever been created serves a purpose, and they all work in harmony. And the more that we learn to work in harmony with
Yeah, they
nature,
do. Yeah.
I thought about
I've got a
writing a
question
book.
for you,
do, yeah.
Sherry. Your strange and unknown streaming network, is that private or public? Can you remember?
I think
Pardon?
that's public.
Yeah, I think it is as well.
If
I
you
think
don't
that's
believe
public.
we're all interconnected, think about. Oh, sorry. Think about this. How many times human life, believe it or not, every element in your body has been through the backside of a worm thousands and tens of thousands of times. So even the simple earthworm, yeah, I thought about writing a book called The Tao of the Worm.
that would be awesome. I love that. And guys, it's right. Like from the smallest, even the single-celled amoeba plays a crucial role in our evolution. And without it, it would throw everything out of whack.
Very true. Yeah.
That's why I even say have you ever seen when it rains, the worms get in the mud holes and they drown?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a big softy, but I have to pick them out of the water.
I do too, but they're used in my folk magic practice to make a healing salve.
I make a healing with them too. I usually put them in a pile of rotting cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
I make compost using the worms, and it's a healing magic for the earth in a sense, making an organic fertilizer.
Mm-hmm. We compost too.
Yep.
Isn't that great?
I have a
simple little worm can do so much.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. I love nature. It's amazing.
Does
yeah.
anybody
Wow.
get up like between the witching hours? Between like 3 and 4?
Yeah.
What about the witching hour?
So yeah. So what does that mean to you when you get up between the witching hours of 3 to 4?
I have awoken at 3 a.m. to many spirits. Yeah, at 3 a.m. precisely. I just woke up and there they are. Wow. I don't know if I felt their presence or it had to do with the time.
There's
What you guys do, like, meditate or something, or I'm kind of wondering what anybody do.
Yeah, 3 a.m. is very important. In fact, 3 a.m. is a good time to perform rituals as well. 3 a.m.
Yes.
It's a very important time spiritually. Depending on the person's path, I've been told that if you get woken up at between the hours of 2 to 3 in the morning, a lot of Christians are called to go pray during that time. If you're woken up, it's one of the perfect times for them to do their devotional prayers. And even as witches, when the world is asleep and the energies outside are still, it is one of the perfect times for us to go do our spells and go commune with the spirits, because there's less atmospheric static, I guess, so to speak, with the energy out.
You're right, Nico. The veil is thinnest at that time from 1 to 3 a.m.
And the veil is getting thinner. The veil's getting thinner.
It's most calmest at 3 o'clock. It's most thinnest at 3 o'clock. But I communicate with a lot of my spirit at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And I also do a lot of my meditation and dream vision at 3 o'clock in the morning, because that's when they mostly bring me messages and stuff. So 3 o'clock, I'm up every day. I'm awake. I'm never asleep at night.
No.
Never asleep at night.
If numerology wasn't important, do you think the fallen angels wouldn't have? That's why they taught it, correct? So there's obviously great relevance to that.
Yes, there is. And
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true,
I've got a
Sister Drew.
question.
It is very still at 3 o'clock in the morning. Definitely.
Like Johnny Pepperstone said, I heard there were several Lucifers. Some of them were good, some of them were evil. What do you guys think? I think that there wasn't several Lucifers. It's one, and he's paid homage to in the occult as a dragon god, a deity, a dragon god. Because Lucifer, in my eyes, is a dragon god, and he's paid homage to like that. Lucifer, I don't think Satan and Lucifer are the same entity. I really don't. What do you guys think?
Satan is a term for adversary.
Mm-hmm.
Luciferius, the angel of light, was a archangel.
Who was this for?
Yeah.
From James. So who asked this question, if you go to a YouTube channel within the Cauldron, we just did a segment on the darker side of the path that talks about this.
But for me, so I think that when people talk about Lucifer, that was a mistranslation from the 4th century of the Latin Vulgate. The being that they're thinking of is Samael, who's the poison, the left hand of God. That is the being that people are generally thinking of when they're referring to Lucifer. So Lucifer is an epithet for Apollo, which is Phosphoros, the god of light, the dawn, which comes from Greco-Roman paganism. And then as far as Satan goes, I don't think necessarily that Satan is what, or at least for folk practitioners and traditional witches, Satan isn't what people really think he is. He's more a culmination of the gods of the forest. It's this like slap together of a bunch of horned gods that was demonized through Christianity to help with conversion rates, saying that, oh, that the god that you're worshiping for knowledge and leaving offerings to, that's a bad person. I don't think that is the depiction of Satanism, at least in my practice. Samael would be classically what I would consider like the devil, the betrayer.
that's interesting.
It can also be found, think about a betrayer. If you look at Norse mythology, for example, you have Loki. Loki is a trickster. You know, when you look at Native American cultures, we all had a form of a trickster in each tribe's pantheos. So, yeah.
Coyote, blue jay.
Right. Sometimes a raven.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sometimes the owl, too, especially when you get towards Central America. Owl is not a good thing down there.
Right. And some organizations actually use that as a symbol. So you really have to question, those and things like when you've got pine cones displayed, there's deep relevance to, like I said, symbology is more important than people realize, and it's in your day-to-day life, and they don't hide it. They openly broadcast this stuff. So, I like that Ace of Base song. I saw the sign. Yep. And I opened up my mind, right?
It always wigs me out. There's a lot of people that use coyote bones.
I think a lot of the
readings.
Christian context makes them out to be bad. A lot of people follow the Christian context, don't they?
And I'm on a path
like in the
of
Christian context, Lucifer is like the devil and this and that and everything else. Like really, that religion doesn't really know very much about these gods and stuff like that. You've got Cananos and all of that. They would be looked at as demons, but they're not demons. I work with Cananos. I've worked with Odin.
But I work with the folkloric devil, which is after the folk traditions work under this lens of Christianity, and
a lot
that's
of
how
times
they survive through. but this concept of the folk devil is always this mysterious man that you meet at Audicul Towers, who you can gain knowledge from if you do the right things, and this concept of always making a bargain. It's not always
Like at the crossroads.
the crossroads man.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The crossroads,
Especially
the
in blues
church.
music. Yeah.
Yep. There is
Mhm.
truth to there. There are
Oh
quite a
yeah.
few crossroads spirits,
Look
and
at Hollywood. Look at Hollywood.
because
You
that
know,
gets
even the term Hollywood, break it down. Holly, the wood from a sorcerer or witch's wand, right?
sacred
Hollywood.
to the druids.
Yep. Because there's more than meets the eye. Yep.
There is, yeah.
In a lot of esoteric studies, they say Lucifer is us, is our ego. And as we
Lucifer, right? He gets a really bad rap, okay? And like, where's it all coming from? I'm not going to answer where it's coming from, but Lucifer said he was trying to give us advice, words of wisdom. One should embrace the ego, but not become it, and that's quite an accurate depiction. Now, it's easier said than done, I admit, but it is achievable to embrace the ego and not become it. That way, you can use it as a tool to benefit you. The ego can give you confidence to move forward and forge new paths. You can forge new paths with your ego without showing it. You can embrace it without showing it.
If you're talking about in terms of Christianity, think about this for just a second. And this has been a long dilemma. When you had Lucifer and the fallen angels teaching mankind hidden mysteries, gnosis, the knowledge of ancient, intelligences and technologies, the fallen brought this to mankind. God didn't want them to know that. God wanted them in the garden, according to tradition, basically ignorant of the ways of the world, ignorant to right from wrong necessarily. They were living like babes in the woods. If I had my choice, I'd rather be ignorant and be safe and know that I could live forever. But you also have to give credence to, wouldn't you really like to know that little extra spice of life, that makes things special and unique?
absolutely, and that makes an interesting point. If anyone's familiar with Diane Fortune, she communicates with different entities, and she said that the Luciferian consciousness was brought into this design to offer us the ability to choose, so that we could understand right from wrong.
I think he was created with that purpose intent, because if God is omnipotent, can
evil.
know everything, he had to know what
He's here to
Lucifer
tempt your
would have
fate.
done.
He's here to tempt your fate and your loyalty.
You can't
That's what
have
he's here to
yin
do.
without
It's to
yang.
tempt fate and loyalty. To see how loyal you
Yeah,
are.
that's true. You can't have yin without
Yeah.
yang. That's a good one. So why did God create the devil? Because you can't have yin without yang. Yeah, but
You
why did he
can't
create
know
the devil?
good.
Power.
Yeah,
It's the two atoms together, opposite and negative. They create manifestations, sparks, energy. And that's what
yes.
yin and yang does. And that's what the devil and God does.
There
Dance.
needs to be two places, because there is good
Light-
and there is what you would call as good and bad, isn't there? So
Light and dark,
he was
yeah.
the emperor of up there, and there needs to be an emperor of below. It doesn't mean good or bad. It's just that one place is where you go when you of the light and you've done good things and things like that. Then you've got the in between, and then you've got obviously hell, as people say it. But I don't like to call it hell. I call it the underworld. That's what it is. It's the underworld. It's a place where you go to learn for your lessons, and to reopen your soul and to cleanse yourself. That's what I believe that the underworld's about.
Shouldn't Lucifer be shown more respect? Don't you think Lucifer should be shown more respect because he takes evil souls to hell? Do you know?
Well,
he takes out the trash. He does.
You got to feel sorry for the guy in a way, because everything bad is blamed on him. So you can't have
evil souls
Sometimes
talk
two
to
people,
them.
4 choices.
I was going to tell you a quick story about what my grandfather told me. There's a Cherokee or Chaligi story about the two wolves. There's a great white wolf, which is good intent, and a black wolf, which is evil intent. And they're locked in a perpetual battle throughout the stars. And as a little kid, you're going to ask, well, Papa, which one wins? And his comment was very profound. It was the one you feed the most.
That's very true.
Yeah. You set your definitions where you want things to go. It can go to the light, it can go to the dark, and it depends really where you choose to dwell as your spirit. In the Christian Bible, it doesn't even say that you're judged according to your sins. It says, thou art judged according to thine works. That means everything you do, every single thought, every move, and I think that no matter what face you put on God or what deity even you use, it's still a choice of, are you doing the right things in this world? Are you being upright, just, and honorable?
Chris has something to say before he loses that thought.
You know, I've been listening to you guys, and this is a question that everyone should investigate.
What's that?
I came across a doctrine, and it was from Adam and Eve. It was a Gnostic text, and I found it very, very enlightening. That fear of, am I walking the right path? Am I straying away from Christianity to become a witch? And what I found through that text was enlightenment of what the tree of knowledge was, what the tree of life was, what the tree of death is. And I think that is basically, it taught me not to fear Lucifer or the gold, what I call the golden age gods. To fear the darkness, even though we do walk through darkness. Each one of us is a torchbearer.
Yeah.
We carry the burden of our ancestors.
Dark was here first before light. And there was light in dark as well.
I believe that Lucifer is more than what we can acknowledge, because he had mercy upon mankind when the gods did not. Gaia did not want us here because she saw what we was. We are destructive. We are a destructive species. But Lucifer had mercy upon us. The great goddess Diana had mercy upon us. They paid the ultimate price for us to live. The goddess, when she descends into the underworld, what does she do? What does she do? She sacrifices every bit of her identity, her royal lineage. For what? Just get scourged? I think that we, as humankind, should be kinder to one another, be kinder to our earth. Hear the spirit and listen to our shaman of America and a shaman of Europe. They was not wrong. If you look at Christ, he even said, be merciful to that donkey. You have no right to hit that donkey. Think about it. He also said that the sparrow doesn't have a worry in the world, for they're always provided for. Haven't we? As a species? I'm not Christian, folks. I'm just calling it as I see it. Lucifer made love to Diana and descended to the earth. They made love. Summer, spring, comes around, goes through fall, and guess what? The wheel of the years continued. The goddess is preparing for her descent, full of labor and love, our harvest for life. whether we acknowledge it, whether we're Christian or Hebrew or whatever our religious status is. We have to see these things. We have to take status
Yeah.
and responsibility to who we are. But,
Chris,
yeah, go ahead.
don't you find it amazing how Christianity started as a spur off of Judaism? But if you really look at the Christian holidays, and I'll get you to confirm this because you are practicing, the Christian holidays are based on paganism.
They mirror everything. That
Yeah, no, they are. Yeah.
But if you really look at Christ, Yeshua's life, he was indoctrinated with paganism because he was raised in Egypt. Okay? You know, and we have to take a good look at that. Where was he at between the ages of 13 until he was 30? You know, what was he doing?
Studying magic.
He wasn't hiding in some hole. He was becoming enlightened.
That's a good point.
No.
Okay.
It's like the Easter. It's like the Easter eggs. We all need to say a prayer for Easter eggs this year, don't we? With the price of eggs.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes.
A symbol of fertility
Yes.
and rebirth.
They're up to like $9 each.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's almost $10 a dozen here.
He's not a Christian, but because of warring factions between everybody fighting and everything, he thought that would bring peace between the pagans and the Christians to end the fight.
That's a good point. Can Barbara tell you something? She made a great point.
Well, of course.
I said the merging, the Emperor Constantine, by the way, he was not a Christian at all. He didn't really believe. I mean, he didn't care. He cared about getting in trouble. He merged the religions like the All Hallows Eve and Halloween with the pagan holidays and All Saints Eve and Christmas and all these holidays and Ashtar, because of warring factions between the Christians, everybody not getting along. And like I said, in the Jews, he was not a Christian, but he was trying to get people not to fight. So he's like, let's pretty much put them all together. We're going to try to pacify everybody. And he merged the holidays together that way so that everybody would be focused on celebrating their specific religions to keep the peace. Because he did not want people coming in and being able to, I guess, take over and war with him. So it was easier just to pacify them than what it was to try to have everybody fighting and then be destroyed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But he wasn't a Christian at all.
He didn't accept Christ until his deathbed.
Yep.
Yeah, he was not a Christian. But the thing is too with Jesus, Jesus followed Judaism. According to him, he wasn't trying to start a new religion per se. He was following Judaism. He said, I didn't come here to destroy the law. I'm the fulfillment of it. He come to fulfill the law. And the whole point of the law was to prove to the Jews that they could not follow the letter of the law without God. So everything got twisted around and twisted around and twisted around. And if people would go back to the beginning and look, they'd see, that Jesus, everybody's like, oh, we don't like, Jesus was a Jew.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why I like Christian brothers and sisters to understand Christ. I stand within this realm of, I am a witch. But I'm not a witch with blinders. I'm not going to sit there and cover my eyes, my ears, my mouth, and sit there and go, maybe there's truth here. Find the truth. That's why I made the yes, the spirit. We have to look at all avenues of spirituality. How else do we become enlightened? No truth. Like this, that spirit.
And I was listening where y'all were talking earlier. I was telling Mark because he said the witch of Endor is plural. It was witches of Endor. Saul was commanded because Saul had rebelled against God, turned his back on God. He didn't want to hear what God had to say. So he decided he was going to sneak to the witches of Endor. He disguised himself so they would not recognize him because at that time it was forbidden and the witches had to hide. Saul disguised himself, and here's the king coming to him after God ordered him, you know, you need to listen to me. Don't listen to anybody else. You listen to what I have to say. He decided he would go and call on Samuel. So he took stuff to the witches for them to call Samuel the prophet, which they was able to do. They did it. They brought his spirit back to speak to him. And then Samuel gave him the same message, ironically, that God told him. He said, now, because you snuck, and the witches seen who it was, there's like, oh my God, what have you done? You know, and then they realized who he was because he hid himself where he was disguised where they wouldn't know who he was. So they're like, we're not going to hold you accountable. We're going to hold him accountable because they was afraid they was going to be executed for giving him the message from Saul. But when Saul come through, he told him the same thing God said. He said, now, not only am I going to destroy you, I'm going to kill out your entire family. Your son's going to die in battle today. You're going to die in battle today. There was only one of Jonathan's children remaining, and that's because David promised a promise to Jonathan that he would take care of him. He fell in the escape and was crippled for life. So David rescued him later on. But they just, it wasn't that they couldn't do it. It's just because Saul was told by God not to do it because he had already given him the message he wanted him to have.
Oh my God.
So, you know, and it's like they didn't hold the witches of Endor accountable. They held Saul accountable.
You know, your witches, I just thought I'd ask, can you make people disappear?
Isn't that proof that witches have power, though?
Can you make someone disappear?
We do have power. We do have power, but it's how you use it. It's how you use it.
I've created a necromancy chat room innocently, and now I'm in trouble. I posted the white sheet in there, didn't I?
If you're asking if I know where the back 40 is in a backhoe, maybe. If you're asking if I can hide somebody,
I have pigs, Bradley.
That worked.
I posted the white sheet in there, didn't I? And now here we go again. Like, isn't that racist? Not the white sheet again. Oh my God! And now I'm explaining.
Oh my gosh!
No, the white sheet stays. All of us and all the members that would join the necromancy group chat room, they are intelligent. They're not immature adults. They're not man babies. They are adults, and like they are esoteric intellects, and they will see a white sheet with glasses, and they will think it's humorous. It's a man portraying a ghost, a humorous figure of a ghost with glasses on. That's what it is. It's a white sheet, and in England, white sheets, it's a ghost portraying a ghost. And I don't see the connection with the Ku Klux Klan of that image because there isn't one. So I'm saying, like, if that image offends anyone, report it to Facebook for racism. See if they remove it.
Here's the thing. When people complain about images, you know, having a context, they should really search their own timeline and see how many posts that they made with similar images. So why would it be, you know, a racist for one person to post it when the same person making allegations has posted? So, you know, you really got to look in your backyard sometimes, you know.
That's why I wonder if your group's public. Yeah, I'll remove him. I'll have to remove him. You know, let him read what I just see. I'm going to post it. I'd like him to read it because I stand by it. That's what's caused all this trouble in the first place. Never mind. We're not having no more trouble. It's a man in a white sheet wearing glasses. Yes, so what? So what? Let's see if Facebook thinks it's racist. I'd like to see what they got to say about it.
I thought the ghost looked like Cousin It. So.
We thought that it looked like Cousin It, and it was a joke with Bradley because we said it was Bradley in an afterlife coming back.
Yeah, it's right. It's right. It was a humorous post, and it was originally. Yeah, I'm going to put that actually. Originally, it was a humorous post aimed at me.
What's funny is when they claim somebody is racist when he's dating a mixed girl and is mixed indigenous Native American. So if you're mixed yourself, how can you be racist? What would I be racist against yourself? You know, you can't do that.
Originally,
It doesn't apply.
Hey, I got a question. So I know like Willow, Nico, and I, and Mark, you know, witches, because she was on, you know, about Salem and everything. What is it about being a witch that you most love compared to other paths? And Mike, I really don't know for sure what your path is exactly. Um, but what is it about that you like about your path?
hat
Anybody?
of me.
No,
What are you on
no,
about my hat?
Mike
Me?
or Nico or
Oh,
Willow or Mark. What is it that you guys like about your path?
Intelligence.
Ooh.
Intelligence, because when have you noticed, and I've got to say this, when have you noticed anyone who is following a path of Wicca or witches, they're extremely intelligent people, which is incredibly refreshing considering the world we live in, where everyone is spoon fed and follow blindly like sheep. So when you have people that have good intellect, you know, because they're obviously thinking for themselves, they don't see within the box. So, you know, I like about witches the facts that they don't see the box. They are no clear definitions. They look for themselves, they fact find, they soul search, they quest for knowledge of gnosis, of illumination, of many important concepts that I think stands out to create a very special place in humanity because frankly, most humanity are still very lost. They're very blind. They're very content in their world. When you see someone that, you know, their day to day operations is worrying about a football game or worrying about a reality TV show versus somebody who is questing through the ancient hidden mysteries or the spice of life or interdimensional travel or the concepts, you know, of other timelines and realities or you know, it's that special spark that I absolutely love about that.
that's amazing.
Yes, me too. How about Mike? How about you?
For me,
Go ahead, hon.
Now go ahead, Willow, Mike, whoever.
I walk the middle path. So there are times where my practice calls me to go into the left-hand path for whatever I need, or to the right-hand path. And in that, I've studied everything that I could find, because to me, my path is all about awareness. That's I don't believe that there's evil. It's ignorance that it really exists. My goal is to eradicate evil by eradicating ignorance. When we do that, we no longer have that fear that makes us do stupid shit or stuff. Sorry, I can't say that in here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And shamanism, magic, like every culture has these practices, and we all use the same thing. We just label it something different. I personally, I have labels. I am a practitioner that can help manipulate energy in various forms that we know as magic. So that's me, guys. And one thing too, I wanted to point out, going back to Lucifer real quick, we have a black church here, a Luciferian church. During COVID, they were the only church in the entire state of Michigan that never turned away any person that needed help, regardless of their sex, their creed, their religion. If you went to their doors seeking help, they helped you.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That is fantastic. I love that. So, how about you, Miss Willow? What's your path?
well, in both of my paths, because obviously I'm practicing shaman and obviously witch. Like for me, like my practice is about bringing justice of the world. It's about being in connection with all things of the world as well. I believe that everything in this world has got a connection, and I want to be able to show people that and show people what they're open to. I'm a very big believer in honesty and loyalty to all things in this world. That's one of my main ones. And obviously, like I like performing my magic. I like being who I am, but I do it because I want to carry my ancestors' ways on. I want to carry on the natural. What I love about my faith is that I'm natural. I'm not governed and pushed to be a certain way. I can be me and be true to myself and to all of the things around me. And that's what I love about being a witch, that I can be natural, I can be open, I can make my own judgment, my own statement. I'm not here to judge the world, I'm not here to judge anything. I'm here to educate and to guide people. That is what I'm here to do. I'm not here to be the perpetrator or the person against something. I'm somebody with an equal and open mind to all things, and I respect and love all things. And for that reason, I use that in my magic. I use that in my respect. Witchcraft and shamanism for me is about being in connection and understanding myself truly, and helping other people to understand themselves truly, and carrying the ancient history. That's what's really important to me in my craft, and that's what makes me proud.
Very well said. Very well said.
For me,
But
I
you,
think.
Nico, I know you're thinking. I can tell when you're
Oh
thinking.
yeah.
Because like, yep, what shall I say? What shall I
I'm gonna say the pursuit of knowledge, because knowledge has power, and community freedom. The pagan communities, the spiritual communities are fantastic. They are a huge support network. If you have run out of fluid within your cup to give back, you have plenty of people there who are pouring back into your cup, and most of the time you don't even have to ask. I just went through a bout of illness, and the amount of support that I had and the people doing healing rituals for me was like truly humbling. Where I had people that I have never met praying for me and doing ritual work for me, and the community there, the freedom to choose my own path, and I learn best doing things the hard way. So give me the machete and the torch because I'm gonna go through the woods and I'll forge my own path. Um, and knowledge. I'm an academic, scholar, and lover of all things lost and forgotten. And if I have to go into the archives of a library to go dredge some of that up, I absolutely will. And uh, that goes back to I think that as a species, we focus ourselves so much on being in these four walls and these homes, and very much forgetting that we are also a part of nature. We may think that we're on top of the nature, but you are also a working part of nature, and that if you can't go out and experience nature, you should bring it into your home.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah. I think, I guess I could say ditto for every one of everything you guys said, because I know being a witch is like it's 24/7. It's not just, oh, every Sunday you go 2 hours, you're done. No, it's 24/7. It's all about the universe that's around you.
Yeah.
First, for those who first become a witch, when we do initiations for our coven members or anything like that, we always tell them to go out and look at the universe in a different way, because we take so much for granted. The trees, the flowers, the bushes, even the grass. We take everything for granted, and we don't think up all those things. If you
Put outside light on.
if you was up of another path and you just spend maybe 2-3 hours doing your thing on Sunday, Monday you go back being whoever, um, and you think, oh, okay, Sunday I go back, I'm fine. I can repent, whatever, But for a witch or druid or Buddhist or shaman, it's not like that. Because we have our worship in front of us every single day. So, and I would not trade that for anything. I like the universe. It's my pleasure.
I feel really blessed to walk a Hereford path. I follow the Druid path as a Hereford Knight. I feel really honoured because I didn't know it existed, and because it's the path of Mother Gaia as well, and like also you're a wholesome person. It's a way of life, it actually the path you follow can help to make you a much better person, decent person.
Yeah.
I think what you do, what you follow, what you affiliate with. Even religion, I will say this about Christianity. Christianity can wreck lives or it can save lives. I've known some people who have become Christians. Christianity has saved their life. It's the religion. Christianity is like a blanket that's protected them from stress and trauma and bad things. Where they only associate with people in their clique, in the Christianity, their own brothers and sisters in Christianity. So it can save lives as well, and it's heading for the light. But not all Christians are good people, sadly. I don't understand how that works. But
I think that can be said about any path. You're going to have those that are on the path and do good things and are good people, and you'll have those that aren't. Because that's why we have, baneful practitioners and the Christians that are judgmental and don't follow their books, and all of religions.
Lukewarm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Lukewarm in anything is not sincere.
No. Gotta be hot.
Like we've all got faiths, we've all got paths that we follow. Like no faith is wrong to a person. Everybody's got a belief in something they believe in, and nobody has the right to discriminate people because they have a different belief. We're all here in this world together, and it doesn't matter how many beliefs you've got in. There is a word of truth. There is a word of truth in all faiths,
Mm-hmm.
and something that people believe in and follow, and that helps them through life. And nobody should put somebody down for that, whether you're Christian, Jewish, Asian, whatever. It doesn't matter, as long as you
all paths go to the light.
That's what counts.
Oh, really? Oh, that's nice. I've got some. I'm going to put some shout outs here. So we're getting some messages from the audience here. I just wanted to say, don't you think it's amazing? All of us are individuals following our own path, and none of our paths clash with each other. Don't you think that's really nice? Amazing as well.
Amazing.
We have our own our own beliefs do not cause conflict in our relationship with each other, our friendship. I think that's good. I think we're doing something right. And I'd like to say hello, Jason Scott.
Okay,
yeah, we're all right. We're all together. This is the round table, the Mystic Roundtable. Okay, Jason, thank you for coming into our life. We're really pleased to have you.
Hi, Jason.
Debbie, sis, I get what you're saying. You're saying that religion has killed more people than the natural disasters, but it's not the religion itself that kills people; it's the people within it. That's what you've got to remember. It's how people concept those scripts, those things. It's not the religion that kills you; it's the people within it, the beliefs that they believe in. They outlook what is being said and comprehend it to being something else and take actions into their own hands. It's not the religion itself that kills you, it's the people within it.
Yeah.
I'd like to go back to the audience. Yeah, I agree with that, actually. Don't forget, Christianity was spread by the sword, and that's not the right way to spread the religion. That's how it went. A lot of people.
Most religions are spread by the sword. If you look at the Muslim conquest, it is spread by the sword. If you look at early pagan beliefs such as Norse, it was spread by the sword. Most religions, sadly, were spread by the sword.
Jesus taught love and peace.
Jesus taught love and peace, but it has been corrupted tremendously. There's been more evil done worldwide in the name, and I won't quote one religion, in religion as a generalized term, than any other cause for warfare or conflict in history has been rooted in religion when it's not necessary. We're all of us here in this show are direct proof of that. We're from very diverse backgrounds with very diverse beliefs, but we all get along and we all function as one.
Yeah, we're
If you think
family.
about it,
But
they killed
what you've got to
Jesus.
remember, Debbie, what you've got to realise, okay, is that the scripts of religion have been changed so many times that the true script of religion is not here anymore.
They
So all
killed
of this
Jesus.
stuff you read now
That's what
is
I'm trying to
old.
say.
It's not old. It's
Mhm.
not the true scripts. It's people's perceptions put onto it and changed it. You know what I mean? That's
What?
where the evilness comes from. It's not the religion itself. It's the concept of how it's been changed. It's how people act because of that change. You know what I mean?
Well, if you
If you
think
went
about
back and
it,
looked at a Christian script from 20 million years ago or whatever, you know, that script would not be like it is now. Yeah, it wouldn't be. It's changed. You know what I
if
mean?
you think about it, they
and it's
killed
done by
Jesus
man.
himself. They killed Jesus, and they thought if they eradicated all the Christians, they would kill the religion. All they did was spread it because they tried to annihilate all of them, thinking that would wipe it out. But they killed Jesus himself. So what does that tell you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I defend Jesus. I defend the Bible. There's plenty of evidence to suggest that Jesus Christ never existed. Okay, copies from our other sources. There's also plenty of evidence to suggest he did exist. So it's debatable, isn't it?
Yes.
He was documented by the Romans.
Even the witch trials, and what happened was carried by new beliefs. The witch trials, like maybe if we went all the way back to when maybe the scripts were first written, none of that would have happened to the witches. None of that would have been like that. But over time, man has changed script. Not God's changed the script. Man has changed scripts.
Yeah,
okay?
That's right.
That's what's caused the evil. It's not the
Thou
divine
shalt not
itself that's
kill.
rewrote those Bibles. It's man, which is why things like that happened, because people took control in their own hands and decided to make their own rules and their own perceptions on everything. That was not God. That was not the divine. That was a person's decision to do that.
Also, you don't have to be religious to follow God. God doesn't require a religion, so you don't have to be religious to follow God or Jesus Christ.
Well, with the Salem witches and the burning of the witches time ago, it has to do with the government, with greed too, getting property and stuff.
Yep, it wasn't about eradication of witchcraft at the time. Witchcraft was the scapegoat. It was the burning of women, healers, and widows, and the men involved for the seizure of land and wealth. Because charging those with that crime meant that the government could seize the property and the funds.
Yes.
Well, they've done that throughout history.
It wasn't a religious thing why we got burnt as witches. It wasn't a religious thing, guys. It was silly people from high-powered places thinking they can rule and do whatever. You know what I mean? So,
and the witchcraft general witchcraft finder, the general of witch hunt, whatever I can get mixed up, his name was. He was proud of what he'd done because he was performing a service, getting rid of evil witches that were ruining people's lives with magic curses and spells.
Look at what happened to the Masons. We were the Knights Templar. When we found Solomon's gold and we funded all the great cathedrals and even Vatican itself, the Catholic faith owed us a tremendous debt. Instead of repaying it, they claimed that we were devil worshippers and killed a majority of us. So it's the same concept as the Salem witch trials. It was a seizure of money through greed and power, which the purposes of a god or a religion was misused.
You know, I find that so interesting, guys. All of this stems from unchecked ego.
Yes.
Created this whole thing.
It is, yes. Yeah.
We have a question I'd like to address here.
It's not really.
One as well,
Somewhere
we got like
Yeah, Jesus performed alchemy miracles, walked on water, raised the dead, healed the sick, and had premonition. What was that?
Well, there was a rabbi
He was a
in
magical
the Roman
being. He was
times
a
that charged a man named
being.
Yeshua ben Joseph of necromancy and sorcery. And up until the 16th century, we depicted Jesus with a wand. So, I mean, we have a gap in knowledge on who this man may have been, and there are accounts of, I think, 4 or 5 Yeshua, and we don't know. None of them are listed as being a carpenter, so they could be other people, but they could be the same person.
Was God a necromancer?
It came from somewhere.
Probably.
He came back from the dead. What's necromancy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, everything's more interrelated than people realize.
Well, there's saints of necromancy. You have Saint Cyprian, Saint Nicholas, unpickled 3 children.
Remember the bones of Elijah?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know those the disciples that sat at the table for his last supper? All of them suffered a really horrible death. All of them. Unbelievable, isn't it? Even the one, Judas, he also suffered.
I've got a massive big perception on Jesus now. I believe, like, I've always believed that, you know, Jesus was a man that was not very different to, say, myself and Chrissy and Chris and Nico. Like, obviously he could perform all of these performances, all these things. He had some form of magic. I believe he had some form of magic. He was different to what they wanted him to be. That's what I believe. And they didn't like that. They didn't find that very comfortable. They didn't like that he was changing things. So I think that they killed Jesus because he was different. He wasn't in the perception that they wanted him to be. I don't believe that Jesus wanted to follow a Christian way. And because he wouldn't follow that Christian way, he was killed for that. And because he is different. And that's why witches were killed as well. Like, what happened to Jesus is no different to what happened to us as witches, okay? He was different. He acted different. He had a different characteristic. And because of that, he was killed.
He was a weirdo. He was creative and he couldn't be controlled.
He was different.
Do you think the church was worried that he was going to steal their patronage?
He used forms of magic. How did he change wine to water to wine? How did he walk from water? How did he
Dionysus did the same thing.
Telekinesis.
He had a form of
he used telekinesis.
He was different.
Yeah. Also, he was a threat to the church because you could walk with him and be a part of his religion, and you didn't have to pay any money either. And I reckon he was a threat.
Bingo.
Yeah.
How do you be the head of a very large faith sitting in Rome, sitting on a mountain of gold while children starve? And that to me seems a contradiction in terms, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's all about power, greed, and wealth. And really, what world do they live in? And what master do they serve? You know, you have to look at the big picture. Those that are humble, that serve humanity, I think they'll find a reward when they get to the other side, irregardless of what they call, what term they use for God, they will meet their reward.
Yeah.
Jesus said, "He who is without sin, throw the first stone." None could, because they all had sin. They all wanted him dead. They were all okay with what was going to happen to him. They had sin because they were justifying a life being taken because he was different. So of course there was sin. That's
okay. We're coming up to the end of the show now. Josh Simmons, hello Josh, thanks for joining me. Josh Simmons says, "I like your hat, Bradley. Thank you. This is my Union. This is my Union Jack hat, my British hat. It's to reset it because I've had people say to me, 'Hey, you sound like you're Australian,' or 'I sound like I'm Canadian,' and I'm like, 'Where'd you get that from?' I talk like the man on the news in England, in London, I reckon." So, like, yeah, that's why my hat is this. I'm wearing a British hat, so you don't get confused. I'm not American. Johnny Pepperson said, "Do you guys have any opinions about Enkai? Is he an alien or a spirit or a god? Is he related to the devil or Lucifer?" I can say he is and many people believe that Enkai and Lucifer are one and the same. That's what a lot of people believe. And he wasn't actually a god. He was paid homage to as a demigod because he had powers just like God, and so you could worship him like a god because he had the powers of God, but he wasn't actually a creator god. Well, he was a demigod, you know.
And he wasn't born here, so he was an alien. All gods, most conceptions of gods are aliens. They do not come from here.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Right. They claim to come from other places.
They're not planet and Earth bound. They're from another place. Yeah.
Right.
The prime creator source is not extraterrestrial. I would say it was celestial. I say angels are celestial too.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Like everything I say is debatable. It's time to end the show because Chrissy and Christopher's got to go. They've got to go somewhere. And so we've got to kill the show. Thank you for everyone for being here. This is the Mystic Roundtable of Esoteric Intellectuals. Mystic Roundtable. I like that very much.
And I love you all, guys. Thank you for coming in it. And thank you, Debbie, for all of your interesting questions. We love you all.
We love you guys.
Love you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much. Well, I'll end the show.